Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the O-Line Is podcast. Got my man Is live and direct with us today. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a great week. Is, what's going on with you, man? How's everything going?
What's going on, baby? Listen, man, I'm just blessed to be here. We got some construction going on in the background. So if y'all hear noises, we got some construction going on, man. So I apologize, but man, we do not stop our show for nothing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we here, baby. Glad. Hey, thank you for tapping me in, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely. So as always, you know the biz. Y'all make sure that you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button in the corner, drop a comment below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you update on all the latest. And let's go.
Let's go.
So, as you all know, we are fresh off of the 2024 elections, and the Democrats didn't take it away this time. The Republicans did. President Trump, pending the January inauguration, will be our new president for 2024.
And just so you know, it wasn't expected, but it became a
Was not.
landslide.
It did. I have to ask you, is what do you think that this was, or for you, was it a surprise, or was it expected, or was it just like commonplace? Like, what do you think?
Oh, it was definitely not unexpected. I think it was definitely expected. I think you got to realize, man, like our society and economy, right? People got tired of Trump, I think, in a sense, with all the back and forth. So then Biden became president because people were hoping that what Trump was standing for and speaking about, they were hoping that someone would come in a little bit more
Refined, if you will. Yeah.
a little bit. They were hoping that was the way.
Yeah.
And so they voted for Biden, right? So when Biden came into office and then Kamala came into office with Biden, I think what people realized was that it wasn't as aggressive as they would have liked, right?
Okay.
And so when they, think about inflation was, I think, that the highest in a long time.
True.
Right? A lot of things were really not as positive. And I think they really just realized, like, for the American people, they wanted somebody that was more aggressive. Because Biden kind of like, he was kind of all over the place, and people stopped believing him because if you look the way Biden was moving, he was looking like he wasn't consciously thinking, like he wasn't the right candidate for real.
I agree.
So I think what it was, in my opinion, Biden and Kamala didn't prove themselves, and I think they got tired of that. So they were like, look, Trump has to be a better way. So I think that's why I didn't expect nothing less than Trump. Regardless of your views or your opinions, from a political, because we got to look from a candidate, like who's going to be the better candidate for our economy, right?
Yeah.
Not from our personal opinion of who we like. I do believe that Trump creates more diversity as far as what people's emotions and opinions, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. No, I would have to agree. I wasn't surprised by it. I wasn't necessarily expecting it. I will say that. Early on in the process, I kind of felt like, Kamala was going to take it away. But when I started seeing that Trump was gaining that traction, I was like, yeah, it's a done deal. Like he was hitting like 170 and she was like in the double digits. I was just like, yeah, it's definitely a done deal.
So what made you think Kamala was gonna possibly win?
So I think it was just on an expectancy that people would just turn out for the Democrats. That's all. That's really about it. Because if I were to go off of what I feel like the Democrats presented, then I would say that it was a loss from the get, because I don't think that people in the public really were able to latch on to anything that the Democrats were saying to say they've got my vote. But it was feelings based. That's really about it. Like I just felt like there was going to be a turnout for her rather. So given that they didn't, I'm not shocked because I just don't think that they weren't really sold a good product. I believe. I'll put it
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think Kamala's biggest issue was she didn't have nothing to back herself, right? Like she had an opportunity in the last 4 years of Biden's regime, in a sense,
Yeah.
right? Like she had an opportunity to prove what she was able to be able to say, look, we did this. And I think in the last 4 years, she had nothing to really fall on. I think it was more of she was hoping to say, look, in spite of the last 4 years, we could potentially do this. And I think when you have 4 years to show what you did not accomplish, it's hard for people to believe if you didn't do nothing for 4 years, what could you do, right? And I think the one thing that Trump did, I think the biggest issue that a lot of Americans had, check it out. May I say something right now?
Absolutely.
So I think the biggest issue has been the LGBT community having so much impact on people's voting and opinions. Like we can't have an opinion outside of what the LGBT community thinks, right?
I
And I
got you.
think the biggest issue has been with Biden approving little boys getting changes at like 6, 8, 10, 12. I think I think he really did hit home with that, man, because how could you, right? Like a child isn't able to make an honest adult decision at such a young age, right?
Right.
And I think when you're allowing that and you're encouraging that, you're not even like, because think about it, bro. When we were 10 and 12 years old, we had our opinions about whatever at that age. And then when
True.
you became 18 and 21, you started thinking differently, right?
Yeah.
And so what I think was what Biden did was they really didn't give you freedom of thought, man. I think what they did was they made you make decisions because you had the ability at that age and they encouraged it, that it wasn't really a wise decision to do that, man. Like it should have been a little bit more counsel to that. You know what I mean? And I
You
think
know,
what Trump is
yeah.
doing really pushing the fact that like this is not okay. And I totally agree. I don't think that a kid should have that decision making at such a young age, regardless if it's a female or male. Yeah, you may want to what's the word for it? You may want to explore
Express
options,
yourself. Yeah.
right? But I don't think it's okay for you to make a life decision making at 12 or 8
True.
years old. I just don't
True.
think. And I think what Americans are realizing, like for example, the whole sports. If a male wants to get into female sports and he's beat, like bro, think about it, masculine. Think about it. If I put a wig on and I walk into a boxing ring, I'm gonna demolish a woman. I don't care what you say, right? But I
True.
also think that having a male be able to have the ability to walk into a female bathroom, any of us fathers or males who have daughters or sisters or nieces would not feel comfortable. And I think what Biden did was Biden focused on the votes. He didn't focus on the reality, like as a people, right? Like what was the
Yeah.
best for the people, So
So yeah. No, you said something that, I really think was a home hitter with a lot of people. And the question was to Kamala, what would you do different from Biden campaign, right? Like, what would you do different? And like he said, like you guys have had the office for the past, 4, and there's obviously things that could have been done different. But her answer to this question was oftentimes nothing. Like we wouldn't do anything different. And clearly, the people are speaking out. They're clearly speaking out, saying, "Hey, look, there are things that we don't like that's going on right now." And a lot of these things that we didn't like was under the Biden campaign. So you, as a new, uh, runner up, what is it that you're going to do to separate yourself from those things that we don't like? And for her response to be nothing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of.
I don't think that was very comforting to people. There's this guy his name is the Amazing Lucas, and he kind of covered this as well and stated that when you're dealing with business, like the customer is always right, is the perception, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so if the customer is telling you, "Hey, look, I have a problem with this product," and your response as the business owner is to just be like, just deal with it. We're just going to continue doing the same thing. You're not going to get that customer to come back. They're probably going to go elsewhere. And it
Go ahead, go ahead.
and in that simple form, I think that was one home hitter for a lot of people, is because a lot of the complaints, one being inflation, and a lot of it they attest to the Biden campaign. They felt, I think, that there was nothing that was going to be changed from
But
that
but
with Kamala.
and not to cut you off, you got to realize though, bro, if she was to have an opinion on the last, like, think about it, bro. If she was to have an opinion on the last 4 years, that would mean she would have to admit
Yeah,
that the last 4 years were wrong.
true. She was in a
So,
tight place. She
of
was in a
course,
tight place.
she can't.
Yeah,
So, you know what I'm saying? Regardless if she agreed, disagreed, think about it, bro. She probably had a vision. She probably thought like, look, I'm gonna be the vice president because I'm thinking about becoming the president, right?
right, right.
In her mind, she had a plan to become the president. So she
Hmm.
used Biden to get to that point. It just so happened that it didn't work at this time. I'm not saying it
Yeah,
won't happen later, but it just didn't happen this time. The
right.
reality is this, big dog, is it's all about the fact of, what I'm saying, the fact of what have they done for the last 4 years, man. You know what I'm
True.
saying? I think when people, there's a lot of people who voted just because they didn't like Biden and they voted for Trump, right? Regardless of the opinion, honestly, in my ways, am I against Trump? No. Am I against his certain comments that he makes? Yes.
Yeah,
What I do appreciate about Trump is he's bringing back the authority of the American rule, right? Because you got to look at it. He's not holding any punches, right? He's like, this is what we're going to do. This is what it is. If you don't like it, this is what we're still going to do.
right.
So, people don't have to like Trump. You don't have to, bro. I guarantee how many people probably don't like you, bro. Right?
I would say a good amount of people don't like me.
Okay, and guess what? It don't matter if you, and
It
there's a
don't
lot of people
matter.
that probably don't like me. It doesn't matter if you like me, but is 75% of what I'm trying to do accomplishing the goal, right? And I think that's all that matters, right? Like,
True.
what is Trump standing for? What is he trying to accomplish for our American goal? Because I think the problem is now it's like social media, right? It's about who do you like. Like a
It's a
lot of people
popularity
pick
contest.
who
Yeah.
they like, not
Yep.
based on facts, not based on any evidence. It's all about I like that person, I like that person. And I think
Yeah.
what's happened is when you look at these other countries like Russia with Putin, you think about these Chinese countries, you think about all these people, right? Their focus when they vote for these people, when they do vote or can vote,
Yeah.
it's about who's going to benefit our economy. And I think what it is at the end of the day, we want somebody that's going to come in and say, look, this is what we're about to do. We're about to
So
change.
what do you think about the overall voting process? Granted, I believe it's 312 electoral votes to Trump and 226 to Kamala, and what that pretty much breaks down to for Trump was about 75 million votes, and for Kamala 72 million votes. For Trump, that was just a slight increase from like his
Hold on, how
previous,
much that went? So that was about 300 million people?
roughly. 75 for Trump and 72 for Kamala.
147 million votes. So we have 334 million to 335 million. So that means 188 million votes were not voted. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
There's a lot into that, and I'm not gonna feed into what the popular consensus is, which is that it's racism and misogyny. That's the ongoing thing. Is the reason why there weren't as many votes, and I'm speaking more so to
So
the
are you saying why 188 million people didn't vote? What do you mean?
no, not all. So I mean, there's a breakdown to it. So the statistics of it is, and I was about to get into the difference between the turnout for Biden versus Kamala. So Biden had 81 million. Kamala had 72. So that was a pretty significant drop in Democratic vote. Whereas with Trump, he had roughly about the same. He had 75 million this go round. And in 2020, he had 74. So he had a slight bump. He had over a million increase in this voter turnout. Now, if you were to say, like, why didn't the people that typically vote come out and vote? I think that they just weren't sold on what the Democrats were selling. Because if we're doing a numbers game, then Trump only won by a little bit, right? It was the Democratic side that lost by a lot because they went from 81 million down to 72. And then you have to ask, well, why did that happen? I mean, they had the they had the black vote, they had black men, they had black women, they didn't have white men, and they didn't have white women, and they did have Hispanic women, but they didn't have Hispanic men. So a lot of that vote went to the Republican side, and so a lot of those have to kind of factor into why they didn't get the vote. And there could be so many factors. I'm pretty sure racism and misogyny maybe plays a part into it, but I don't think that that was the determining factor as to why they lost the popular vote. So one of the things, I don't know if you heard about this, but it's been trending as of recent, is women who obviously were Democratic voters are pissed off, to say the least. And their response is to delete the dating apps. And the whole intent behind that is to show men who voted for Trump that we are not going to engage with you. We are not going to have relations with you because you obviously value people like Trump over Kamala, and so by showing you that we're not interested anymore, they're going to delete their dating apps and they're not dealing with the women and with men. They're also telling women to divorce their husbands because the assumption is that all of these men, all men pretty much, voted for Trump. And so the response is to not deal with men anymore.
This is to my woman who cried all day. We grieved. We grieved all day. Yes, we did. But it's time we rise up. We start the 4B movement in the US. I will be partaking in the 4B movement. Alongside that, I will no longer be participating in retail shopping. So that way, consumerism can take into effect, can get affected by that. So I'm not bringing children, not shopping. I'm gonna go ahead and register for my FOID card, get my FOID card, along with going to gun ranges and registering for, like, wrestling.
What is your take on that?
Oh, my take is this. It's funny how people use political situations for their agenda, right? Because why would a woman, now we're not talking about, okay, let me back it up. I ain't gonna talk about a woman. Why would a female encourage a woman to divorce your husband because he approves of Trump?
Right.
That's just-
Assumingly.
Yeah.
Not known. Yeah.
Man, yeah, but that's his personal opinion.
Right.
Why is his hold up. It's like saying if you like the Redskins, you need to divorce your husband because he likes the Redskins.
Right.
Like, bro, if he doesn't agree with Kamala, see that's what that is, bro. You know what that is, bro? That's that sexist, chauvinistic mindset, like
Misandry.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. That's the word, right? Like, think about it, bro. why does how I think or feel about somebody have to negate the fact of my responsibility as a man?
Yeah.
See, the problem is those women who are sharing those things. Let me share with you what I've realized. Those women are miserable because they have no body, right? They have no. You know what they
That's
have?
yeah.
They have female relationships with women who agree with that, and they'll never be happy because of being
True.
with a woman doesn't make you happier. But bro, the fact of me as a man, if see, the problem is, you know what the problem is? Heterosexual men are always targeted, right? So these
Yeah.
women are impressioning their thoughts on people to make them think that if a man agrees with Trump, see, the one thing that I've learned about being a man, bro, is it's not about it's not about if I like you or not, right? So there's things about you I don't like, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from our relationship, right? Because it's not about if I like it's the things that it's the things I appreciate about what you do, right?
Right.
So you're saying that me as a man, if I agree with Trump as president, like I can't agree with nothing Trump says. So hold on, or I can't agree with nothing with if I don't agree with Kamala on some things, I have to agree with everything Kamala says.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I have to agree with everything Kamala. I have to agree with everything
Absolutely.
Trump says. But hold on. I agree with some things Kamala says. I've agreed with some things, right?
Yeah.
I've agreed with some things Trump says. But you're saying if I agree with anything Trump says, then I'm this person. And you know what, bro? That is that feminist movement that is trying to desexify, right, men and beat down the heterosexual male to make him right. It goes back into the LGBT community and says that if this man agrees with that, because guess what? Check it out now. Check it out. Biden and Kamala were agreeable about boys having their sex changes cut off so that they become young girls, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where men can walk into bathrooms with little girls, use the bathroom and say, "Oh, I relate as a female," right? This is
Yeah.
the Kamala Biden situation, and if I don't agree with that, then I am a sexist.
Misogynistic.
I'm
Yeah.
what?
Misogynistic.
I'm misogynistic. I'm all these things. But because I don't agree with a grown man walking into the bathroom with my little 5-year-old daughter, something's wrong with me, right? But I'm
Yeah.
supposed to agree with this. And see, this is what's wrong with this society, right? So when these people talk, in my opinion, they're not thinking from a neutral perspective. Because I guarantee you, if they have little girls and a grown man walks in the bathroom and shows his private parts to a little girl, they would not be okay with it. But they want to say that it's okay because it did not affect them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And see, this is the problem that when people talk like that, I feel like they talk out of personal emotions, right? And
Yeah.
stuff speaking of
It's
reality. Because, bro, check it out. If like my lady, if her daughter was in the bathroom and a grown man walked in the bathroom and he was to walk into her stall and show himself, trust me, I'm coming behind him. But because I walked in, guess what? That would be a hate crime. And
true.
this is why I do not agree with the Biden Kamala industry, right? Or situation, is because that is not okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's find a candidate that meets in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's a great point, man. I think that that's something that I've been talking about for a long time, but I don't think that we'll see it, is to really entertain a third party versus us only having Democrat and Republican, because it really leaves too little on the table, because any one of these candidates can just say, I'm not them, and that's enough to get your vote. And the other person can say, I'm not them, and they get the vote. But if you have three people in the room, at least you can say, okay, how am I competing against these two people, right? But we don't entertain the a third party because that's just not of interest. That's just not
Just
something
like
that we're not ever gonna.
Ross
Yeah,
Perot ran like what 5 times and never won.
yeah,
Because because you know what, we're Republican, Democrat. We never look in the middle.
never look in the middle.
I gotta applaud Ross Perot though, by the way.
Oh,
'Cause
big up for
he ran
sure. Yeah,
5 times knowing that, like, yo, regardless of what you think, but we
yeah,
don't think that we're so small minded. We think Republican, Democrat. We don't think in the middle.
yeah.
You know, so
So the last topic that I wanted to cover is mass deportation. Now, of course, a lot of the speculation around Trump is that, based on his comments and based on, what people forecast, that he's going to conduct a mass deportation of undocumented citizens, or not citizens, undocumented aliens, if you will, in the U.S. And of course, the high criticism of the Biden Kamala candidacy was that they allowed a lot of undocumented
no,
individuals in here.
they allowed not allowed.
Everybody, yeah, everybody.
Come through,
So, yeah.
bro. Like, guess what? Can you go to Cuba right now?
No, you cannot.
Okay, I can't go to
Yeah.
Cuba right now.
Right,
Well, yo, come over here. Come on, man. Chill out.
right.
But guess
So,
what?
yeah.
Hold up. Guess what the highest gang violence of any culture is right now? The Venezuelan culture right now. The highest gang violence is out of Venezuelan culture. You know what I'm saying? You think about it, right? Are they
Yeah.
documented?
No, they're not.
I'm not saying that people shouldn't come here. I don't disagree. What I'm saying to you is that, right? You've allowed all these people to come over here who are not from here, and we got the highest gang violence is from a country or culture that's not from here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is that right or wrong? I think anybody should be given an opportunity. I think anybody should be able to come over here and create an opportunity for themselves. But under the Biden administration, bro, gang violence is at its highest from Venezuela right now. You know why? It's because they're allowing anybody to come over here. But guess what? They will not take us the same way. You know what I'm saying?
So to that point, do you think, and that's kind of what I was alluding to, do you think that Trump will follow through with this mass deportation? And do you think it'll be limited to only these specific trouble undocumented individuals? Or do you think that this is going to be one of those things where it's going to be a mass deportation of people that are non-citizens, non-official citizens to the country?
So I don't think mass deportation is the in my opinion is the answer.
Yeah.
I think what needs to happen is regulations, right? I think what we need to do is, I don't mind, bro. I'm a believer that people should be given a second opportunity, have an opportunity to live their life, right? Like, if people come from a country where there's not much opportunity, I believe they should come over here in America because the American dream is to be able an opportunity, right? I believe that. I'm not against
Agree.
that. What I do feel is that when you just don't regulate stuff and you just allow anybody to come with no regulations, I feel like that you have no desire to protect the American people. So when, like Biden, you're more focused on votes. See, Biden, we're focused on votes. So you're not worried about the American people. You're just worried about how you look in society, right?
Yeah.
You don't care. Bro, listen, Biden's like 80 years old. Biden does not care what happens. His life as well. Him and his son, they have all this money. Their family have all this money. He doesn't care, bro, financially, right? His thing is this. He just wants to say, look, I was an American president. That's all he cares about. You got to be real. He just cares that he was an American president and that he'll go down in history as an American president. Biden doesn't care about that. And I think the American people need to know that he doesn't care about that. But in their mind, they think he does. Kamala, do you think Kamala, she's wealthy, she's financially free? Do you think she cares? Her goal is to say that I was a American president. That's all she cares about, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't care about nothing. She doesn't care what happens to the American people, bro. But when we look at it, right, this gang violence in America, guess what? Who they affect? The middle, low class people. right? They're not thinking
Yeah.
about that. So when you let the borders open up and you let all these people come over, you're not realizing that you're affecting the middle to low class people.
Yeah.
You don't care. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, "Oh, we should vote Kamala," but Kamala just let all these people that are killing. Now, if they kill your family or they kill your relatives, guess what? You're going to be mad, but you're not going to blame Kamala. And so I'm not saying that I'm like you should push toward Trump or Kamala. I'm just simply saying that we need to have some type of regulatory
Have a balance. Yeah.
a balance, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying
No,
like
I agree.
there's no balance. There's no balance with the system that we have, and I think that's the biggest problem. So you're allowing boys to cut their penises off. You're allowing people to come over here with no nothing. You're allowing whatever to happen. You don't care, but we did this for you. We did this, and nobody's really caring about that. And that's what kind of throws me when I hear people telling, "Oh, vote Kamala because she's a black woman." She don't even relate to a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying
Yeah.
vote Trump. I'm not saying vote Trump because I don't agree with everything that Trump says. I'm just simply saying that let us stop voting based on color and like what are we talking about, bro?
No, I agree. I think we do lack a lot of substance when it comes to voting. It becomes a thing of popularity and who we like, who we feel more comfortable with. And there's a segment of that that's applicable to voting where, I mean, if you are voting for someone that you just highly disfavor, you feel like they're just completely unlikable. I can kind of see that, but that's not even what this is about. We don't really know. I would say the mass amount of people in the US that voted are not fully aware of what Trump's actual policies are, and they weren't aware of what Kamala's actual
So
policies were either.
let me say something to you. Let me say something to you. I think the mass majority are more aware of what Trump's political focus was compared to Kamala, right?
Correct, yeah, but they don't know his policies.
What I'm saying policy wise, what I'm saying to you is Trump's is about the wealthy, right?
Yeah.
How can he pay less taxes, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what he's creating, right? How can I pay less taxes? If I become president, guess what? I determine how much taxes I pay, right?
Right.
Kamala, she's more about I'm trying to make sure everybody's happy. And so I think what we need to do is not be fooled by, you know what I'm saying, those different things right there. Like I said, I'm not pushing you toward Trump. I'm not pushing you toward Kamala. I'm just simply saying that in spite of how Trump's personal opinions are, I think he has the best interests of the American people. As much as I want to disagree with that, I feel like compared to Kamala, because Kamala has never really said what her best interest is. And I think we need to realize that. Like, she's never really said what her personal opinion is for the American people. And I think that's the downfall for, bro. We're not willing to dissect and say, like, yo, okay, I like Kamala. People say, well, I like Kamala. Okay,
Yeah.
I like Chick-fil-A. Doesn't mean I need to eat Chick-fil-A every day.
Right.
And I think we need to stop eating Chick-fil-A every day and start realizing, like, yo, who has the best interest of the American person? You know what I'm saying? I know you probably disagree because I see your eyes. Them joints getting big every time I say that.
No, I don't disagree. I think that these are definitely valid points because again, at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be about a popularity contest. We need to be voting on topics that actually affect the people and that are actually valid
That's the
points.
important thing, bro.
And that's not what this is about.
So
So I'm
let me ask you a question. Let me
yeah.
ask you a
Go
question.
ahead.
Let me ask you a question, bro, because you look like a straight host. My man. Hey, listen, if you were to choose a vote, and there, bro, don't be afraid of the viewers now. If you were to choose
Was it again?
I said, if you were to choose a vote,
Mm-hmm.
Who would you choose? I'm not gonna say who you voted for.
Okay.
If you were to vote, well, I did say it. Who would you vote for, Kamala or Trump, or would you not
Yeah.
vote?
I would be leaning toward not voting, and if I were to vote, it would be Kamala. only because it's the quote unquote safe route without really. It's the fluff vote. To be honest, it's the
Yeah,
fluff vote.
you know what? I gotta say this. I would say with the last 12 years of voting has caused more division amongst people and family and friends than anything else. I believe, right?
Yeah.
It's because Trump figured if I was to vote, I would definitely vote Trump. I wouldn't have said this. I wouldn't have said this 6 months ago.
Why so?
I wouldn't have said this 6 months ago. Nah,
Why so?
I wouldn't have said it.
You would have been voting for Biden?
6 months ago, I would have based on uninformed information.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say this, right? Is I don't want my daughter in the bathroom with a grown man because he says he feels he is a female, right?
Okay.
I don't want that. I wouldn't want my sister in a boxing ring or a wrestling ring or in a basketball court with a grown man just because he feels like he could win a gold medal because he wants to relate as a woman at that time. You follow me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in this day in society, we can choose and say, I'm a female. So I'm not voting for Trump because of that. I'm voting against Biden because of that, right? I wouldn't want my son at 15 to say, Dad, I feel like I want to be a woman, so I'm going to try it out. So he decides to cut himself off and doesn't realize 5 years from now he might have made a bad decision.
Right.
I don't want people to be in an uncomfortable situation because we have a society that says, I encourage you, right? And there's nobody holding you accountable saying that, well, hold on, maybe you shouldn't feel like, maybe you don't feel like this, maybe you feel like this now, but what about 5 years? There's no accountability, bro.
Yeah.
And so the reason I can't vote for Kamala or Biden is not because I don't think that they could be the best presidential candidate. I feel like I can't vote for them is because they're not holding people accountable and they're accepting this as okay and not realizing that there's 5 years down the road accountability. So 5 years down the road, there's going to be some form of accountability,
Okay.
and there's not accountability.
So would you say then that with the Democratic Party, there's a quote unquote nice face, but a stab in the back, whereas Trump is right there in your face and gives you what you want to know?
I think it has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. I think it has to do with, in my opinion, I think it has to do with the fact that Trump is understanding that that is not okay. And
Okay.
he's not going to allow you to make a impressionable decision too early without realizing that like there's some maybe regret 10 years from now. I think that if I allow you to make a decision now as a teenager that when you're 25 you're going to regret that the fact that you cut your penis off. Right? That a grown man gets in the ring with my queen and he's in a boxing ring with her and he beats the hell out of her and maybe he shouldn't have been in that ring because you know why? There's no comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not okay. I think what it is, I think with Biden administration is he's allowed people to think that certain things are okay when they're not okay. You know what I mean? And that's
I got you, man.
that's my issue. So that's the reason why I would vote for Trump versus Biden because Biden will allow your people or people that's in your comfort level to be uncomfortable because he wants to get the votes to win you over. And Trump, even as much as he makes you uncomfortable, he's not going to make my children, my nieces, my nephews, my family uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So that's that. Hopefully, y'all understand that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not voting because I like him. I'm voting because I can't allow my youth to be uncomfortable with. I can't allow them to be uncomfortable with this. Like, what are we talking about, bro? You know what I'm
I
saying?
hear you, man.
That's it, bro.
Hey, so look, January is the inauguration. I don't know if we'll see everything that Trump is claiming to do and actually do. He's a big talker, and
Hold on.
so
I got something for you though. Got something for you. Got something for you. Can I?
go ahead, go ahead.
You Mexican brothers who are wearing these "Make America Great" hats, y'all gotta stop that shit, bro. Making America great had nothing to do with Mexicans, big dog. Like when people, well, you know what it is, Ola. People, when the people say "Make America Great,"
Yeah,
like they're like, what are we talking about? Make America Great. Like I think what people need to realize is when you put that shirt on, that hat, and you say "Make America Great." I think it determines on who you're talking about. Like if you really talk about let's be honest. I think the only people that it makes sense for is white people who wear that because at the time that's when blacks were enslaved, right?
yeah,
And that's when they were lucrative off the backs of black people, right? There
yeah,
was no time in America that black people were lucrative. Spanish people were never lucrative because they were like Mexicans that were getting slaved down by white people. So
right.
Mexican, so there was no time for Mexicans, blacks, or any other culture that there was America great prior to right now.
Yeah,
So I just gotta say that. I just gotta say that. Like when I see that and y'all wear those hats and those shirts, you're basically saying that you want to be enslaved and you want to have be on the backs of white people because there was no time in America ever that blacks, Mexicans, Spanish, any culture, Asian, every culture, anybody that was America was great at your time. They'll never.
yeah, and they definitely were out in droves for Trump. I mean, yeah,
So when people wear that, it blows me that they say "Make America Great." I am not pro Trump. I'm just pro like I'm just anti. I'm just anti the BS. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey,
and
that's a good way to put it.
all that Biden are with the BS. I'm not pro
Yeah,
Trump. I'm just anti BS, bro. And
yeah.
right now we don't have a candidate that is for positivity, man. It's just not. We just don't have one, bro. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel you, man. I definitely agree. Like I said, January 20th is inauguration day, and it's one of those things where we just got to see. Like we don't know if Trump is going to come through with everything that he's claiming to do, or what people are speculating that he's going to do. He's a big talker, and on certain things that he says, he doesn't come through on it. On certain things he says, he does come through. So it's one of those things where we just got to see.
Yeah.
It was an interesting run. I gotta give Kamala her props for at a minimum stepping up to the task. Even though I don't think that she did well, admittedly I don't think that she did well. She didn't run from the proposition to actually potentially be the president. So got to give her props on that
What
one.
do you
But
what do you what do you what do you what do you think though? What do you think? You gotta give her props. What do you think? I know you get
when I say give props, I mean for someone to say, "Hey, look, you're going to be in the position of president. This is what you're like. You are the one, the only one." She could have said no. She could have said, "Look, this is not something that I want to do. This is not. You got to find somebody." She could have done that. That's what I'm saying. For her to take that and to do something,
no, she would not. But I agree with you. I agree with you.
yeah.
Why
And
would
that's it. That's it.
I mean, I wish to be honest with you, I wish she would have been. Be honest with you, bro. I wish she would have been a candidate. This is what I wish she would have been. I wish she would have been a candidate that was like, yo, I'm for my people. Not talking about black people. I'm just talking about people.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
she would have been like, yo, like this is what I wish it wasn't just about the votes. And that's where we're at right now, bro. And that's the only reason I say that I mess with Trump is because I don't think he's about the votes. I think he's just like, look, I'm gonna win the presidency. Like,
He knows how to work his
but I'm saying,
audience. Like, yeah,
I wish Kamala would have just been like, I'm not worried
a
about the
little,
votes. Like just
just
a
a
little
little
bit,
bit of.
like go hard. I think that's why I wasn't like shocked when Trump won, because Trump was
Yeah.
like, I don't give a F. Like, bro,
Yep.
this is who I am. Like,
Yep.
and y'all are gonna vote for me. And
Yep.
this is what I wish Kamala would have did that, because it
Yeah.
would make more sense. And that's why I'm saying that, like, I'm not choosing her over Kamala, him over Kamala. I'm just saying, like, I wish he would have just been like, I wish she would have just been like, yo, a little bit more G with it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah.
She was about the votes, bro.
She was about to vote. She was doing a lot of shape shifting. She was doing a whole lot of repeating the same answers over and over.
like
Not really
talking the
just
BS, bro. It's like, come on,
turning
man.
with.
Hey, man.
It became nauseating for me.
Appreciate you, baby.
Hey, absolutely. Hey, look. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Check out the inauguration.
Watch this.
Hopefully y'all tune in. Get more politically wise. We're gonna get more politically wise, and make sure that we can make more informed and better decisions and conversations about this. But let's keep the conversation going. Hopefully y'all like this. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike. Drop a comment below. Make sure you share this. Hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. And we catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.